going to get run over, so we're just going to...
You wonder if we're recording this today?
I think you should bring more than one.
We're going to do chichas. Alright. So where's the 3 girls?
Yeah.
Okay.
You ready?
What are we going to carry? So
You're just going to carry just from the bottom? Yeah. There's no handles on it, so you have to carry it.
you're going to put on your shoulder. So
So one on the other.
Everyone's on hospital show.
face that way.
When do we sing?
You guys are going to run. So you guys can pick up last.
Go said sing.
And then there's one.
Okay, are we singing?
Yes. We're going to sing.
And one more,
Are we?
one more person.
Yeah, I think so.
Like with our hands or like...
Are we doing the whole procession?
From the back door, the church back door.
Whose car is that?
Who's inside?
This way. You guys come forward. Get up. Yeah, let's start the hymns. Come on, where's the deacons?
Chris. I'm not even
When we go inside church? Want to start once we go inside church? No, if I was in it, from the main door, from this side,
Okay, guys, so you guys will follow everyone follow the coffin, please.
Remember me, O Lord, when you come into your kingdom. Remember me, O King, when you come into your kingdom. Remember me, O Holy One, when you come into your kingdom. Aris Amen, behold the choice of Shandimen, Tembet Oro, Aris Amen, Iobra Oro, Anshan Tembet Oro, Aris Amen, Iobra Oro.
Okay, guys, we're going to have to come closer because someone's going to be upset. So we need to come closer so we can understand. Everyone, please. So, good evening, everyone. My name is John, and that's Marie. Thank you for having us tonight, and I hope we can give you a message that you can leave with something meaningful. I just want to make a disclaimer that I've never done this before. It's my first youth meeting, it's my first public speak about what I do. So, excuse me if I muck it up, and no one judge me. So I'm just saying sorry from the beginning. I'm not a clergy, I'm not a theologian, I'm not a preacher. I'm the worst one out here. I'm the biggest sinner. Just putting it out there. So we're going to try and learn something all today on the first one. So I prepared a few things, and hopefully the Holy Spirit talks through me. So if we can open up the Psalm 139, and we're going to read it together just as an opening. So Psalm 139. And when I was growing up as a youth, we had a particular speaker, and he said, turn your mobiles off unless you're a brain surgeon. So I'm not sure if we have any brain surgeons here, but please, we'll just try and keep it. We're going to be quick, we're not going to waffle, and we're just going to be to the point. So Psalm 139. O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know my sitting down and my rising up. You understand my thought afar off. You comprehend my path and my living and my lying down, and are acquainted with all my ways. For there is not a word on my tongue, but behold, O Lord, you know it all together. You have hedged my behind and my before, and laid your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high, attain it. Where can I go from your spirit? Or where can I flee from your presence? If I ascend into heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, you are there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there your hand shall lead me, and your right hand shall hold me. If I say, surely the darkness shall fall on me, even the night shall be light about me. Indeed, the darkness shall not hide from you, but the night shines as the day. The darkness and the light are both alike to you, for you have formed my inward parts. You covered me in your mother's womb. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my soul knows very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in secret, and skillfully wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. Your eyes saw my substance being yet unformed, and in your book they all were written, the days fashioned for me, when as yet there were none for them. How precious also are your thoughts to me, O God! How great is the sum of them! If I should count them, they would be more in the number than the sand. When I awake, I am still with you. Oh, that you would slay the wicked, O God! Depart from me, therefore, you bloodthirsty men, for they speak against you wickedly. Your enemies take your name in vain. I do not hate them, O Lord, you who hate you, and I do not loathe those who rise up against you. I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them my enemies. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my anxieties, and see if there is any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. Amen. And that was the talk. Thank you. So, the points I want to make tonight, which Marie put for me here. I'm going to take two verses, the last two, 23 and 24. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my anxieties, and see if there are any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way of everlasting. So in a nutshell, Our Creator knows our heart. Our Creator knows our mind. Our Creator knows our soul, our thoughts, our intentions. He knows our characteristics. He knows my feelings. He knows my desires and He knows my ambitions. He knows when I envy. He knows what I want. He knows what I need. He knows my wishes. You name it. He knows it all. The Lord, He actually is well aware as our Creator of our next move. The way we think, the way we plan, you just can't outsmart God. There has not app been created that we can outsmart God. So in saying that, we need to really focus on the things that truly matter. Being a funeral director, I'm not just a guy that rocks up to the funeral with a suit. I literally go to the hospital, transfer the body, if it's at the hospital or in a nursing home, or if people pass away at home. It's confronting, and it's a constant realization that, hey, that's going to be me one day, or it's going to be one of my loved ones. I have a father, I have a mother, I have a brother, I have a wife, I have a family. So it could be any of us. So what I've learned over the years is that I used to think when I was small that you only die when you're young, when you're old, 80, 90. You're a geddu. You know, you've given a full life and you've had your kids and your grandkids and all that. But no, I learned that the hard way. 9 years ago, I had to bury my best friend. He was 33. He got cancer. And all he had in the beginning was he had a bit of a sore back. And we went to the doctors and he did physio and he did chiropractor, and that didn't work. The pain was still there. So when they did his x-rays, they found that he had cancer in his spine. And from that day, it was the 26th of May, and he left this earth on the 26th of July. 12 weeks. It sounds horrific. Married. He had 2 kids, a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. He was a very successful person. He was a call center manager for QuickBooks, the competitors of MYOB, software programming, and the most loving person. Grew up with us in church as a youth, and no one could say anything wrong about him. So I always, till this day, I question God, why? I have no answer. I can't say why. But all I can say is that he was ready. Sam was ready. He's never, ever been able to hurt anyone with his words. He was always loving. He was always tender, always humble, always doing things for his family. On Saturday, he would be at his mum's house with his wife and kids. On Sunday, he would be at his in-laws' place. I mean, let's face it, not everyone likes their in-laws. I mean, maybe you guys haven't got in-laws yet, but that's the type of person he was. He was just so loving. I say to God, why did you take him and then you've given him a 1-year-old daughter? But now when I see the kids, they're in the Coptic school and they're growing, God never forsake them. And he supported his wife, and they've got their own house, and they've got, the kids are healthy. And so from that point, it really changed my life. Not just being a funeral director that does this as a work, but I've lost someone who was more than a brother to me. And can you just imagine that, God forbid, you lose one of your best mates, and you're not on the best of terms because of anything. You had an argument. You had a different opinion. Anything, the misunderstanding, and then that person passes away. What would be the guilt that you feel? Very, very harsh. I mean, I know it sounds morbid, but it's reality. I mean, I can give you a list of people. Recently, February, we had a monk from the monastery, Father Pharaohs. Not sure if you've heard. He was 47 years old and he was at Bunnings shopping for the monastery. He got a heart attack at Bunnings in Smithfield, not far from here. Taken to Blacktown Hospital, they couldn't revive him. It was his time. He was ready. So I think trying to giving you these real life examples is, suppose it's not just the elderly people who pass away. It could be any of us. So what is our relationship with God? That's what it comes down to. What's my relationship with God? Do I go to church on Sunday? Do I come to the youth meeting on Friday? And I might squeeze in one tasbih here or there, and maybe a midweek mess while I'm at uni? Do I walk in every Sunday with the bag and do my matanya and stand level 7 in front of the mic? What is it? What's my relationship? Honestly, I question it every day. Am I truthful with Him? Am I trying to be the pleasing son that He's created? It's a constant challenge, and you will never ever find the straight and the direct answer to it. It's all about a personal struggle. So I really believe that we need to all individually fight with ourselves to be able to achieve that relationship with God. And that's a truthful relationship. It's something that you need to be able to iron out your weaknesses and work on those weaknesses. I have a lot of weaknesses. I daily do. I have a short temper. Ask Marie in the office. So it's something that we all have, everyone. There's no one here that's blameless, and there's no one here that's perfect. And I'm the first one to say that I'm far from any perfection or from being of any religious status. Rather, I've got a constant battle, because working in this field, I'm probably the most luckiest out of everyone here, because it's a realization. When I come and put someone in that coffin and I look at them, this morning I have someone who is 41, Indonesian Christian mother of 2, 12-year-old and a 7-year-old. She got ovarian cancer 4 years. She fought it to the best of her ability, and she passed at home peacefully. She was getting palliative care at home by her husband and her kids. She's 41. On the 6th of February, we had a young man who was 34, probably not far from you guys' ages, and he was at the beach. He was literally walking halfway to his waist, and he ended up getting swept by a wave, which made him gulp some water. Lifesavers took him out. Half an hour later, he got a cardiac arrest, and he passed away. 34, he was a basketballer, so you can imagine how fit and slim he was. Again, I have no reason to say, I don't know, it's just, it was his time. And God, the Creator, knows when everyone of us has his time. Everyone has an expiry date. Everyone. And everyone will pass away from this world. It's guaranteed. Our ancestors, the Pharaohs, I was in the museum 2 years ago in Egypt, and they've literally tried to outdo God and take everything, and took their gold and their jewelry, and they tried to embalm themselves into they're going to live till kingdom come. Even they couldn't do it. So we don't take anything. If I open this coffin, the coffin is empty. We take nothing with us. We only take our deeds. We only take our doings. We only take, I've helped Carol with a cup of water. God saw that. Even if she didn't appreciate it, which you would, God can see every little thing. If you've helped a friend who's feeling down, are you okay, David? You need to talk. And it's got to be something of any, I don't have to be a rich person to be giving out money so that God's going to like me because I'm giving out money. No. Serving the Lord can be done in many, many ways. I believe when we live a simple life, it assists us with our relationship with God. Meaning, love God, love people. If we use that motto, love God, love people, and we filter out everything else. I was raised and born in the Coptic church. I served in a lot of the portfolios of the church. And we have a lot of politics. And we have a lot of baggage as our culture. That's just us. I'm being honest. We're not going to paint a rosy picture. If I am going to focus on that bad, then I'm not going to get anywhere with my salvation. If I'm going to worry about so-and-so, he locked the keys to the Sunday school room, doesn't matter, it's okay. It's not about who's doing what, it's about my relationship with God. Why do I come to church? Can anyone, why do we come to church? Is it just a routine? Is it just because they told us we have to go? Or is it because I grew up and I see my mum and dad go and Teta goes and Geddu goes, so I just have to go? Come on, you guys are the smartest generation, smarter than us. You come to church because you know that you have a relationship with God. You come for God. You don't come for anybody else. There's a relationship, there's a special bond between us and God. And we need to be able to maintain that and strengthen it. Because if we don't strengthen it, we go astray very easily. And we are living in a society which doesn't encourage Christianity. We're looked upon as weirdos. We're not from this world, literally, nowadays. I used to get laughed at school when I say I'm fasting. Fasting? What are you fasting? I pull out my one big tamaya sandwich and lunch, and the garlic and onion just reeks around the whole playground. But anyway, I still did it. So yeah, so our relationship is crucial with God. Being truthful in the relationship is even worse, hard. When I personally say, our Father, and you guys try it one day, when you're saying our Father and you come to forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who I get a stroke. Hey, I just had a fight with my brother last night on the phone and told him off. How am I asking for forgiveness? I'm not forgiving my brother because he didn't come around to pick me up for a coffee. Or I've told off my wife because she didn't make mulakhaya last night. Like, literally, if you think about it, honestly, how do I ask for forgiveness if I'm not giving it? It's contradiction. So we need to be so truthful about it. Honestly, from my experience, it sends shivers down my spine because I'm not at peace with the whole world. I can't, hopefully that everyone is, but I can put up my hand, I'm not at peace with the whole world. So I constantly ask for God to give me that peace and grace so I can be able to be peaceful, to forgive others as they forgive me. The funeral and the funeral preparation and the funeral day and everything that happens with the funeral, the coffin, the flowers, the cars, the cemetery, the eulogies, the whole thing. Do you think that the deceased feels it? The deceased, it's for him? It's mainly for the family. The funeral is for the family. It consoles them by having some nice flowers, by having abunas prayers, by having people that pay tributes to the deceased because how he or she were wonderful people and good practicing Christians. So the actual funeral is not made for the deceased. It's made for us to be able to be comforted. Can I stop boring you and I'll get Marie to maybe please give out some papers and some pens and maybe everyone write 5 words that you would like to be said in your eulogy when you die. Because hey, we are going to die. No one's staying. So if you can come up with 5 words that best describe you, that you want to be said, because everyone's going to waffle. He was amazing. He did this. What do you want to be said about you guys? And you got to be truthful.
Did you forget?
And be truthful, guys, and there's no judgment. There's no judgment. I'm going to introduce Marie. Marie's a colleague of mine. She's non-Coptic, so she'll probably be a bit more fun than I am because I'm just boring.
Hi. Not used to this kind of mic. I reckon we should randomly pick somebody to read out their own eulogy. And then you can judge if they're being truthful or not. So, I have to be honest with you, I'm quite tired. I'm up way past my bedtime. I have 5 children. So I'm a mum of 5. So by this time, mate, I just want to be in bed. But I'm glad I'm here with you guys. I'm glad that I've been invited to share a little bit. So as John said, I'm non-Coptic, although every day I cop lectures and get told that I'm eventually going to become one. I'm at enough funerals to sort of, go down that track. So basically John invited me to have a little chat with you because of the topic being life and death and being about the things that matter in life. There's a portion of my own life that has a lot to do with this kind of stuff. I'm going to be really honest with you. You guys should really all be sitting here. You realize that, right? Like this is not primary school. I don't know why we're doing this. But anyway, if you feel that you have the courage enough to get up off that seat, come sit at the front, please. Thank you. That's better. You're all friends here. I don't understand. A little bit more. Come on. You can do it. That's it. There we go. That's better. And the other thing is that I actually can't see you because I need my glasses. Sorry, I'm old. Yeah. You guys just need to bring it in. Thank you so much. Appreciate. Shukran. Thank you. Okay. So as John explained, not from a Coptic background, actually not from a Christian background. So I was brought up as my parents are from South America. South America is technically a Catholic country, as you probably know. All of Latin America is. But my parents were kind of like very sort of new agey, and they were like not your typical Latinos, and they were like, you can be whatever you want. All right, awesome. I'll be whatever I want. They did believe in God, but they weren't practicing Christians. So I was brought up that way. Good childhood, great parents, great family, everything is beautiful. But we fast forward to the age of 12, and I lose my best friend in a pedestrian car accident. And grief comes along and just knocks me out. Except I didn't know that it was grief, right? So we're going, doesn't have any faith, doesn't have any anchor of thought, doesn't have any foundations. If anyone here's ever felt grief, but you've got a faith, you have something to cling to, right? Something that kind of at least gives you some kind of foundation that you're not going to be wiped out by these emotions. When you don't have faith, grief can come and do whatever it wants with you. You're a playground now. You're open game. And that's what happened to me. So if we go from 12 to 16, I went from a normal kid in like year 7 to a 16-year-old mucking around on Oxford Street in underground clubs that I shouldn't have even been in. So how the heck did that happen? How did I go from the good kid to the kid that's now doing things that no soul could actually understand what she was doing? So I got into, obviously, illicit drugs, you name it, I tried it, I did it. Promiscuity up here. There was no limits to what I could do. I was allowed to do whatever I wanted. So by the time I got to 18, 19, now I was basically running the club. And I got to the point where drugs were my daily habitual thing. Look, kudos to me, because I actually held down a job. I studied, held down a job. I looked normal on the outside, but no one knew what was going on in the background. So I ended up in very, very dark places, involved in illegal things, you name it, all that kind of stuff. I'm sure you guys know about all this stuff, right? You do know, right? Can I get a couple of nods? Do you actually know what I'm talking about? Okay, nice, thank you. All right, so that was where I ended up. And I basically had no regrets for my life. I actually quite enjoyed it. I thought I was having the time of my life. I had other people that would probably covet the kind of life I had. Hotels, spending money here and there. It was awesome. It was fun. But one night when I was 19, my drug dealer was dropping me off at home. I'm not used to a mic that just sits here. I have to I want to move, but I can't. So I just feel like I have to stand here. And oh my goodness. Thank you, Jesus. oh, look at that. That's awesome. Ask and you shall receive. Okay, so basically, now I can move around. This is so good. Okay, so my drug dealer drops me off, right? And I get out of the car and he goes to hug me and his arms go all the way right around me, right? And I felt him kind of freak out as if to say, far out, there's like none of you left. And he was right. I hadn't eaten food for probably over a week or so, just drugs, water, that was all I had. So I had become like nothing. There was nothing left. And he said to me that night, I'm not giving you anything because I don't want to be the one to put you in the grave. You know it's bad when your drug dealer does not want to give you drugs, okay? I'm just saying. It's not normal. Anyway, so he had a conscience, obviously. So he takes off and I go into my house and look, I could tell you everything that happened from the moment I opened that door because it's all quite demonic, spiritual things that went on. The stuff I saw, the stuff I heard, the stuff that I experienced was pretty full on, but that's for another day. That's another segment. So we're going to go straight in to basically, I'm going to summarize it in my demons assaulted me that night and my body was going to cave in and I could feel that my organs were shutting down. So I'm literally now facing death. And funny things happen to you when you get to the point where you know you're going to die. You don't have ego. You're stripped bare. You have nothing left. So the atheist girl was facing death and said, my God, I'm so dirty. All of a sudden, my whole life, I felt all the dirt and the shame and the guilt that I had carried all those years. It was right in front of me. I knew it. I knew exactly what I was and what I had done and where I had been. And I knew where I was headed. So in that moment, you can imagine, let's just say it, the devil had a field day with me. It was like, yes, now I got it right where I want to, right? But something else happened that night. Somebody else paid me a visit. I'm there and I'm dying. And all of a sudden, have you ever been in a room and you're not facing you're facing this way and all of a sudden you feel someone's presence walking? Have you ever done that? And you go, you know someone's walked in the room. You haven't heard them, but you feel. So you turn around to check who it is. Okay, I had that moment. I was in the room, I had my eyes closed and I'm thinking, this is it, I'm going. And all of a sudden I feel the presence walk into the room. And this presence is like nothing else I ever felt. Let's remember, once again, I had no drugs that night, okay? I'm straight. And I feel this warmth into the room. And the warmth touches my hands. And my hands start to feel this power and energy running all the way through my body. I'm thinking, what is this? Oh my goodness, is this how I'm dying? Great, it's a good way to go. But it wasn't that. That night who paid me a visit was Jesus Christ. What I haven't told you is at the age of 12, when my friend passed away, there was a pastor there from some church and he spoke about Jesus and he said, you know, if you receive Jesus into your heart, you're going to be with him forever and he's your Lord and Savior. And you know what, I'll be honest with you, I didn't believe a word he said. But I looked around the room and everybody else kind of went, yeah, I'll do it. I was like, oh, okay, maybe I should do it too, just on the low, you know. So I did the little prayer. The good thing about that is this, God is faithful. He actually doesn't go back on his word. Even though I was unfaithful, he was faithful. So he managed to rescue me that night. So what I'm trying to tell you is the atheist, right, got rescued that night by the God that you guys worship. And now he's got me here tonight telling you something. Isn't that amazing? Like, how does that happen? God's awesome. So what I'm going to tell you is that night when he rescued me, this is another portion of stuff, right? So there's a lot to it, but I'm trying to summarize it for you. That night, what it felt like when Jesus rescued me was something that you can't replicate with all the drugs in the world. You can't replicate it with anything. His power is something you can't even comprehend. And that night, when he came in, I heard, he touched me, this massive heat run through my body. I got healed of all drug addiction, infirmity, all the issues that I had in my head, all gone, wiped clean. I was a new person in an instant, blink of an eye, from one thing to the next. And then I heard something that was just marvelous. I heard voices praying, continuous prayer. And God told me, those prayers are what held you. Those prayers saved you. Because of those prayers, I can come and rescue you. Then after that, I heard singing. Singing like symphonies, hundreds of symphonies all put together into one, and it was perfection. And God said, that's the worship. That's my people worshiping me. Then after that, when God spoke to me about his love for me, it felt like, it's very hard to explain. It felt like tidal waves of love that just come and they just smash you, and they smash you again. Smash you in the most perfect way you can possibly imagine. I had some pretty awesome drugs, and I felt some pretty awesome things in my life, but nothing on this planet would ever come close to the love of God for you, for me. We can't find it anywhere else. That night, if you had to ask me, and God did, what do you want? You know what I wanted? I wanted to die. I would have gone that moment there. I'll go with you now. I want nothing that's here. This earth has nothing to offer me. Nothing. I just want you. This is what I wanted my whole life. When I went out there searching for drugs and all the things that I searched for, what do you think I was searching for? That love. That's what you're searching for. Everything we do is to fill that void. And you can only get it from Jesus. It's the truth. I realized that night. But when I said, I'll go with you, what did God say? Well, obviously, I'm here. So he said, no. Why? This is perfect. I'm here. Take me. There's something interesting here. If I had died that night and people had come to my funeral, you know what they would have thought? Poor chick. She's probably in hell. What kind of life she lived. No one would have known that night I was going with Christ. I'd be in paradise with him. The other thing about that is, why did he leave me here? I'm going to show you why. Have you seen these? Have you been to cemeteries and they put them on the little, yeah. So I've plotted out the person's name out of respect. We don't want to know who this is, but in loving memory of, and it would have said Marie Castro, and it would have had my birthday and my death day. And in the middle, there's this tiny little dash. It's like insignificant little dash. That's your life. That little tiny dash. For that reason, God didn't take me that night. Because that dash is the most significant thing to God. From the first breath of life to the last breath, that's what he's concerned about. And what he's done there is in the psalm that we were reading. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. All my days are ordained for me. He's got days ordained for you. When he knit you together in your mother's womb, when you see knitting, it's all intertwined. When he knit you in your mother's womb, he knit purpose into you. Purpose. That dash represents purpose. Without it, you're lost. You have no idea why you're roaming this earth. You can come in and out of church. You can do all the things, tick all the boxes, and life is so mundane. There's no point. God's not a CEO. He's not a micromanager. He's not going, are you doing what I asked you to do? He's not. The thing is that when he created you, he knew the purpose that he knit in you is your maximum fulfillment. You would be living your optimum life if you live the purpose that God knit into you. It's actually his gift to you. Are you following? Yes? Am I getting some nods here? Am I making sense to you? Okay, good. You know, That night, I could have been the phone call that John gets, that I hear daily in the office when a family calls and in a blink of an eye their whole life's just flipped upside down. They've just lost their loved one. I would have been that phone call that night. I would have been in one of these. But obviously, God's priority is the dash that I'm talking to you about tonight. Yeah, sure. Bring it forward. Do you need help? I probably would have picked a different coffin for myself. No offense. Okay. I have to have a Coptic coffin. God does have a purpose predestined for us. And this is a topic on its own. Is that making you uncomfortable? I'm sorry. No, yeah, it's okay. Oh, right, okay. I like coffins. I think they're quite beautiful, but anyway, that's why I do this weird job. There's this, look, when we talk about purpose, that's a whole nother topic. You could do a whole series on purpose, because purpose is tricky. Purpose is worked out in what John said, a genuine relationship with Jesus Christ. Your purpose, it's like a journey. You have to walk with God to figure out, why am I here, God? Why am I here? It has to do with your skill sets. It has to do with your talents. It has to do with your passions, because all of them have been intertwined in you, and you have to sort of figure that all out. You can only do that when you walk with Jesus. He can point you in the directions of that. But one thing's for sure, there's nothing on this earth that could ever fulfill you. That's the truth. And you'll forever chase stuff around. I like this C.S. Lewis quote that says, aim at heaven and you get earth thrown in. Aim at earth and you get neither. If I were to tell you, or if God was to say, you know what, tomorrow, no sins counted against you. Go on, do whatever you want. Nothing will be counted against you. You can enjoy. You can do all those things that you're curious about, and I won't count them. You'd find no fulfillment anyways. It's not about sin. Really, it isn't. It's just about the fact that you were made for greater things than that. There's greatness within you. It's all intertwined in you. So tonight, I guess the point that we're trying to make is that you're not of this world. You're of heaven. You're a kingdom purpose. You got greater calling of your life. You got purposes. You got things to do. You got people to talk to. I'm fulfilling my purpose right now. And if tonight you go away with one thought that helps you to step a little bit closer to Jesus, I fulfilled my purpose. He fulfilled his purpose. You fulfilled your purpose. Does that make any sense? Yes? Anyone willing to read out their eulogy? One person, come on, have some. Who's the gutsiest person in this room? Oh. No, I won't do that to you. Can I just say, if any of you find yourself in a bit of a dark place, if any of you are struggling with your walk with God, or you're questioning yourself, your life, your worth, your future, I hope that in what I've just said to you, the fact that some random chick, God was kind enough to come and save her, that you'd understand that he's big enough to handle all the stuff that you're going through. I love this verse that says, surely the darkness shall fall on me, even the night shall be light about me. Indeed, the darkness shall not hide from you. John said it before. He already knows. You don't have to hide nothing from God. He knows. It's all good. Just come forward, just come to Him. You don't need to hide it. That's pretty much me in a nutshell. And I'm hoping that that kickstarts some thought processes about purpose. I had written down something. Give me a minute to check it. I'm gonna put the microphone in row 3. 1, 2, 3. Eulogy, please.
Can I read Indiana's? I wrote hers. I know. So nice. So nice. I wrote for Indiana. I don't know if anyone can hear this. She wrote the first one. She said, she wasn't always will be funny. And then I said she was rogue because she doesn't like to listen. And then I said when she wants to reply, she would, like whenever something suited her. And then I also said she had no concept of time. But the one good thing about her was she was always forgiving, like to anyone and everyone. That's the only thing I could think of.
That is wonderful. All right, I'm pretty good to wrap up. John, would you like to come and conclude?
Can I have a big clap for Marie, who's non-Coptic, please? So does she make the cut to be Coptic? Can you get a vote? So I just wanted to give another verse that really I live every day, and it really makes me wonder. Matthew 25:13. Therefore keep watch, because you do not know the day or the hour. I live that in my job and my service every single hour of the day, to the fact and to the degree that I'm scared because I'm not ready. That's the reality. So I would like you guys to leave with a message tonight. Am I ready? Am I ready? You're going to say, what are you talking about, you psycho? Am I ready to meet my Creator? I've done, just so put it out there, I've done, my first funeral as a baby, 14 months old, and that baby, its vision doesn't leave my image. It was glowing. I had it in my courtroom, in the mortuary, for a week, and it was glowing. Glowing to the extent that I got scared and saying, is this an angel from heaven? Yeah, it was an angel. And I'd close the door and then come back after 10 minutes and it's still glowing. So that was my first funeral. And I did 18-year-old. I'm not sure if you guys heard about Sonia from St. Mary's Church, who was sick with a brain tumor, and God decided that, she'd get better and she'd go worse, and she'd get better and she'd go worse, and He decided that it's time for her to go to paradise. In saying that, I was close to Sonia's family. I knew Sonia, and Sonia was even confessing on an iPad when she couldn't talk and she was bedridden in hospital. Look at the faith. What is she confessing? What is there to confess when you're bedridden for years? But that's her faith. And she saw multiple angels and saints from our rich library of saints and angels that we have in our Coptic church. And I've done and I'll tell you, Sonia's 18. I've done 21-year-olds. I've done 30-year-olds, 29. Keep going, 40, 41, 50, 60, 103. So it's all ages. So that's why we don't know the time or the hour. We honestly don't know it. Abuna's mother-in-law, Abuna Paula's mother-in-law, was in the car with her son and husband. They had a car accident. Someone hit them. And she passed away. Out of the 3, she was sitting in the back. You don't know. Someone could be crossing the road. They could get hit. No one knows. Hence why I live this on a daily basis. I try and do my utmost best in front of God to try and make peace, to try and not upset people. I have weaknesses, so I do. Normally I'll do. I try to make peace with my mother. I try to keep my love with my father, because I don't know, am I going to go back home and find my father passed away in his sleep or in the bathroom? I've had people, most Christmas days I get a phone call, someone's passed away. Passion Week, Resurrection, during Lent, people pass away. It's like the heavens are open. So we just know, and there's no age to it, like I keep saying. And I'm not scaring you guys. I promise I'm not scaring anyone here. It's just I'm trying to give my experiences as God has granted me this gift. It's a service for me. I didn't introduce myself in the beginning. So my name is John. From St. Nicodemus, like Carol said in her message. And I don't like to, we're not here to promote anything, but I'm being blessed with this service. It's a service. I am a courier for God. Literally, I'm a courier for God. God's creation is this, the shell, the soul departs from the body, and then this has to be dignified. And He's chosen me, thankfully, and I praise God for it, because it's a realization for me. I'm not interested in having 10 investment properties. I don't need to have a holiday home. I don't need to have a 24-yacht boat sitting in Drummoyne. I don't need it. What do I need? I need to focus on my salvation, because my best friend had 2 houses, Sam. He had multiple assets. He didn't take anything with him. So it's all a reality. And my purpose of this message tonight is to tell everyone, look out for your salvation, because it's not just, it's written. And as I said in the beginning, I'm no clergy, I'm no theologian, I'm from the underworld. I've done it all. So I'm not saying that I'm a saint. I've been clubbing, I've done everything. So no one's gonna say, oh, this guy, I'm a deacon and I love God, and look, I'm gonna die one day. Could be now, could be in 100 years. We're all gonna leave this world. You know why? It's like going to the gym. You go to the gym for the physique. Unfortunately, I haven't been to the gym for about 20 years. But church is the gym for our spiritual lives. That's what it is. That's how I look at it. The readings, the books, the teachings of our elders and the saints and all the people, Pope Shenouda, all these people that came and taught us. That's the vitamins. That's the gear. When you get the roids, that's the gear. That's what it is. So we need to be able to look at we are one of the luckiest people on this earth. We are the chosen ones in a way. Because Marie's witnessed people who are not even anywhere near Christianity. So we're born into it. We take it for granted. I'm sorry. We take it for granted. Can we have a fair between yourselves that we take it for granted? You're born into it. You come here, there's the altar, there's the temple, you get dunked in the thingo, 5 years old, you become a deacon, you stand there, bang, bang, bang with a trianto, and life's good. The girls are standing there, they want to see, what are these boys doing? And then they go and do kahk and ta'maya in the kitchen. That's not what it's all about. It's about me and my relationship with God. I need to be truthful with that relationship. Why am I coming to church? To learn something, to be able to, and listen, Pope Carlos said it, you got to keep trying. It doesn't matter because I've sinned, that's it, I've given up. No, everyone's sinning. We all sin every day, 24/7. The Pope sins. The Pope sins, I'll tell him in his face. And by the way, I do sit with the Pope face to face. So when he was here 3 years ago, I was the one humbly served him for a week when he was in Sydney, in the hotel where he's staying. So I cooked for him and I made his food. And he did tell me, John, sit down because I'm not going to eat while you're standing up. So I sat with him, but I didn't tell him he's a sinner. So the point I'm trying to make is that no one is blameless and no one's perfect. We're all human, and God's created us for that fact that we can sin and He's forgiving. Can I just say, I picture God. God is like this. He can see what I'm doing. He's standing there because I'm sinning, but I'm still got your back, bro. I got you. You know, I'm not going to let you go. He's going to embrace me. He'll always embrace me and He'll forgive me. Can I just say again, honesty is important, and answer it in your heads. How many of us have upset our mums or our dads? Okay, ta'ala habibi, come on, what are you going to eat? Straight away. I'm the first one. My mum, I'll knock her back straight away. I don't want to eat. Just leave me alone. Okay. And then I ask for something, she's there attentively. Correct? Isn't that what happens in most cases? So this is what we need to be. We need to appreciate our friends, our families, our loved ones in front of us and be truthful in our relationships. Let's be realistic. You can't trick God. Bill Gates couldn't trick God. What's his name? Facebook guy. None of these guys can trick God. They can't trick God. all the technology in the world, you can't trick God. Because at the end of the day, we're going to end up here and our soul's going to up there in the holding bay, paradise, until the second coming. And there's going to be, all right, John, here's your list, bro. What have you done? You're on Harakes with, right? That's shocking what you've done. Sit aside for a bit. So it's all about our deeds. All we're taking is the deeds. Honestly, Alexander the Great said the coffin has no pockets. And the Agbeya says you can't praise God from the grave. It's like I come and tell you, when you passed away, God forbid, I love you, bro. Please come back. Why didn't you tell me that you loved me when I was alive? Why are you coming to tell me now? So this is where we're at. God's given us, like Marie said, the free reign. There is no way that God is micromanaging. There's the law, there's the church teachings, and there's your life. Have a go. We are living in society. So if everyone turns to be gay, is that okay? Because it's society? And I have nothing against gay or lesbian. But I'm just saying, if everyone's popping pills, do I need to pop pills? Because it's not cool? No, I'm following my teachings. I'm following what I believe is the right thing to do. And even if I do, it's up to God. He's going to judge me at the end. But we need to learn not to be judging each other either. So on the other hand, for me, Christianity is honesty between me and God in the mirror. And let's face it, we all know when we're doing wrong, and we all know when we're upsetting God, and we all know that we need to straighten up when it's time to straighten up. Correct? We all know it. So let's try and be very truthful with ourselves, with God. This Lent, I hope that we can all lift our hearts to ask God to make us prepared and to have mercy upon us on His judgment. Because we're going to get judged. Whether you like it or not, there's judgment. Whether we think we're going to escape, we're not escaping anything. God knows that you're talking with the orange top while I'm talking. And look, what are you playing? Oh, the eulogy. So basically, what we really need to be able to benefit spiritually from this, and in that is being truthful, transparent, and honest with God, with our own personal relationship with Christ. The final point is really our salvation. We need to look after our salvation, because I can't say, "Oh God, I'm best mates with Abuna Paula. Can you let me in?" God, Pope Shenouda was my uncle, but hang on. My cousin's a monk in Ambantonios Monastery. Sorry, champ, you're on your own. My wife, my father, my mother, if they're all blessed people, that will not get me into heaven anyway. Every person for himself. And that's what it comes down to. And trust me, the grave is for one person only. So you're going to be down there, and that's where the body is, the soul's going to be there, and God's going to be waiting for that judgment day when He comes. So please, I do apologize if I've was in any way confronting, but I just want to make sure that everyone gets the message that there is no age for death. Any one of us can leave this world now. We need to make sure that we are truthful in our relationship with Christ. Please pray for me and have a blessed Lent, and we hopefully, if it's a big if you want to see us again, let us know, and we'll come again with a different style. Or we can do an excursion to the cemetery. How's that sound? We can do a barbecue at the cemetery. Fsikh day at the cemetery. Thanks for having us, guys. I really appreciate it. Pray for us. Thank you, Carol.
Does anyone have any questions for John or Marie? Okay. Thank you very much, John and Marie, for coming today and giving us a wonderful talk. I really appreciate it, and God bless you guys. So for those of you guys who missed it, so John owns a company, St. Nicodemus Funerals, and he gave us the privilege and the honor of simulating or bringing in a casket into the church today to give us a better understanding of his talk tonight. So for those of you guys who missed it, the deacons were singing a hymn and we came into the church and put it in. So that's what happened today. For also just a reminder for the topic, since it was a bit like unorganized in the beginning, I'll just repeat what the topic is and the new series. So the series is life, death, and then eternal life or death. So I'll say it again, sorry. Life, death, and then eternal, and you fill in the blank, life or death. That's up to you. So it's an eye-opening series, and the aim of the series is to gain a true holistic perspective on life and God's ultimate plan for his beloved mankind. And today's topic was in the blink of an eye.